Okay, common percentages of increase and decrease. Let's say we have the original was 200, even $200, and we want a 10% increase. We want 10% increases. We take the original number 200. That represents 100%. 10%, you remove 1 0 or divide by 10. 20 represents 10%. And you increase it by adding, you get 220. So this is a 10% increase on 200, which is basically a 110% representation of the original. Now, 5% increase. Once you know what a 200%, once you know what a 10% is, you can make all the other percentages. So again, 200 represents the 100% of the value. And 5% is simply half of 10%. So if we make 10% by simply moving the decimal over and making this 20, half of this will be 10. So 10 represents 5%. Then we add the 2 and we get 200. 10 represents 5%. We add them together, we get 210. This represents 105% of the original 200. Okay, now the 20% increase. Well, from the 200, that is 100% of the original. And we know that the 10% was 20. 5% is half of it, so it's 10. 20% will be double this. So it's 20 plus 20 is 40. So 40 is actually the 20% that we're going to add. So we add these two, we get 240. This represents 120%. Next, 15% increase. 200 represents 100%. To get 15%, we look at the 10% and the 5%, which is 20 and 10. We add these two and we get 30. 30 represents the 15%. So you simply put together the 10 and the 5, which is the 20 and the 10 here. That represents the 15%. Yeah. All right, so this is 15%. We add them together, we get 230. And this represents 115%. Now let's go to the decreases. 200, the 10% decrease will basically be 200 representing 100%. And 10%, we simply move the decimal over one time, this becomes 20. So 20 represents the 10%. And a decrease will subtract. So this will be 180. And subtract these two, 90%. So with a 10% decrease, you end up with 90%. Okay. Let's look at a 5% decrease. A 5% decrease, if 10% is 20, 5% will be half, which is 10. There. So this represents 100%, and the 10 represents 5%. A decrease will be subtracting, so we'll get 190. We'll subtract 10. This represents 95%. 100% decreased by 5% is 95%. So 200 with a 20% decrease. Okay, so 200 here. 20% is basically 2 times the 10%. The 10% is 20, then 2 times that will be 40. So 200 represents 100%, the 40 represents 20%. And a decrease on that would give us 160. So 100% minus 20% leaves us with 80%. So 160 is actually 80%. And finally, 200 with a 15% decrease. We start with 200. That represents 100%. Okay, to find 15%, we go back to our 10%, which is the 20, and the 5%, which is the 10, and we add those two. That'll be 30. And 30 represents 15%. So when we decrease it, we're going to get 170, and 100% less 15% gives us 85%. And those are your common percentages.